Alright, so the last thing we did was to initiate the droplet and do everything, but we need to now install the database, or it's installed, but we need to install Php Myadmin to the droplet in DigitalOcean. Php Myadmin, we have the same thing locally, so that's why it's good to have that also in DigitalOcean, because then we can easily export a database and just paste that into a database that we got on DigitalOcean. But we need to also see that page from DigitalOcean. So to do this, you go to the PuTTY that which you downloaded. So we can do this again so you remember. We do the PuTTY. It looks like this. It should look like this. PuTTY, go. And we have saved it here, first droplet. So I just double click on it, log in as root, and we have also droplet pass. There we go. So we got that one, and what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to do a command here to install Php Myadmin, and you know, in DigitalOcean, when you do Linux and everything, it's very easy to install new things. And like I said, in the other on the other websites that do the same as DigitalOcean's, that you can do for free, they're not so you can do everything, but because we now installed from DigitalOcean a droplet with Linux, we can download certain things to our droplet or install certain things in our droplet. So that's what we're gonna do. We will do this command. Let's see here now. We will do sudo apt-get update first. That's to update everything. Right click, copy. Well, anyway, I copied it, and I'm gonna, but you need to write this out. Sudo apt get update. Hit enter, and it's gonna look for updates, and then we're gonna do the next, the command we're actually using to install Php Myadmin, and that's gonna be this command here: sudo apt get install Php Myadmin. We hit enter, and now it's important because you need to, well, wait, yes, first of all, we need now to choose Apache 2, and you really need an X in Apache here. You can't use your mouse to do this or anything, so you hit space, the space button. So you get an X here, and then you want to do tab or whatever arrows, get down to OK. You see I went to OK here. Enter. If you do something wrong there, it's well, maybe you need to do another droplet or something. We already got it installed, so we don't need to configure database for Php Myadmin. We already got it installed, so no. Use the arrows and then hit enter when it's on no. So you see now we've installed Php Myadmin, and where that shows is right here. You know, if you look at the droplet you have, if you go to DigitalOcean and you go to the created droplet, you have this. You can copy the IP address, or you go into your mail and you look at the IP address that was created for you, and then you so you paste this in a URL, or well, like that, and now you do Php Myadmin, and you will see your Php Myadmin, but on DigitalOcean. So now we need to log in. So we do root, and here locally we have 1111, but here we have another password. And remember, you had to save this password from the other video, the video before. So you copy this password now and you paste it here in passwords. You go run, and you can do remember or whatever. And now we're connected to the database, but this one is for the one we have on DigitalOcean. But this is perfect because now we can export from our locally installed database here, Php Myadmin. So I close down my the putty like that. Now we can create first underscore db instead here. I'm gonna change from Swedish to English so you can so it'll be easier. So what we got here is we want to create a new database. So you go to databases and create database, and we call this, what was it now? First DB create. So we got first DB here, but we don't have anything inside of it. What we're going to use now is do query, but manually here. You see, we had the query here. Remember, when we do it in PHP, we do the query here, but you can manually do your query here, and that's how we're gonna export this. So localhost here, and we push the first DB. We will so it should only say database first DB. If I go on users here, you see that you have users here, but you want it to be first DB, so we get the whole database. Export, and the important thing here is custom and display comments. We don't want that because then it's gonna show us errors when we paste it. We push go, and you see it's a .sql file, and I've chosen to open this file with Notepad++. So when I hit it, you see it opens here. So I copy everything of this, copy paste the whole file, and I go to my Php Myadmin, but on DigitalOcean. Go to first DB, push SQL, and I paste everything that I just copied there, and I hit go. And you see something happen there. If I now look at first DB, you see users here, and we got the rows that we had from, we got everything from this one now. All right. So if this was full without the tables, they would also be obviously copied like that. So it's very easy to just export it like this. Good. Now we got this, and we would now like to run what we just did in localhost. We would like to run that, but now on DigitalOcean. If we have a look at what our file here, I'm actually gonna close everything here. I'm gonna go in, remember FileZilla, to look at my project in a better way than Putty. Right click, view, edit, discard local file, then download and edit a new file. Okay, so here we go. This is what we got on DigitalOcean, but remember now, we don't want this password here. We don't have 111 for our password. It's the one we saved here that we got when we first logged into putty.exe. And you can also check, you can just Google if you erase this or deleted this, you can get the password. I don't remember how you did it, but you Google it, DigitalOcean, get my SQL password or something like that, because it's a command in Putty which can where you can get the password. Or maybe when you log, anyway, it doesn't matter. We need this here instead, and that's all we need. because we called the database the same thing as we did locally, and everything else is the same. It's just the password that is different. Okay, so whenever I have a project, I do a project and I put in the local password that I have, and when I then move or copy the folder to my DigitalOcean root folder, like here, I need to change the password. But I'm gonna show you another thing soon here. But I save this, and every time you open a file from FileZilla, like with a right click and then edit it, you need to come back to FileZilla and you will get this pop-up. I've done this a million times wrong, where I change the code here and I go right away to my file here, and then I try it, and then no change has happened, or it doesn't work, and then I come back to this and see this window, and I know I've forgotten to click yes here, just to see, you see, so it's transferred the new saved file from here. That's what you need to look out for when you edit your file right away here in file from DigitalOcean. Alright, so now I've changed the password. So the password in DigitalOcean for connect to my database is set to this. So now there shouldn't be any problem to do what we want here. So what are we gonna do now? Well, we're gonna go to this page. There we have the IP number, and I was having my project in my project, and then connect to database.php. So my project connect to database.php. I hit enter, and you see you get the array, you get Ronnie, and if you look in this one, it's the DigitalOcean. If I update the user now, you see you get another row here. If you look at the code I had here, it was the same thing, but I inserted into user values Kent email3 mailinator.com. So you see it was added right here when I did this. What happens if I refresh again, you think? Well, it shows 3 rows, and if I look at my database table, you will have another one, but it's just the same one. So if I continue doing this, it's going to fill up with this. It's because we're doing this. So there you go. Now you have it installed, and how you would work now is to get a good workflow. You start something locally on your computer, you put it in your root folder, which you have changed to something maybe, and put it in Dropbox, and you put everything in this folder or directory, and you start a new project like this one, and here I got this project right here with all my folders to this project right here. And if I want to copy this, let's say I have already copied the Blackberry folder. Let's say it's already there. I did the, let's just imagine that. So I have Blackberry right here with all the folders right here. I've made a lot of changes to locally on my computer, and I want to copy Blackberry right now here with all the folders. I've changed a few files in here, but there's one file I don't want to change, and I got it in core, and that's for another tutorial. But if I go to tutorial, I have init file here, php, which connect to the database. So this is the only file that connects to the database. So if I want to copy everything, I don't know if you, I hope you understand what I'm saying right now, but maybe you don't, then just don't think about this. Just play around with what we learned today. But if I want to take everything from Blackberry, every folder but the core folder right there, and then I move everything to my Blackberry folder, it's gonna start, you know, transferring every single folder in the right place. And if I already had core right here with my database connection, I wouldn't change that because I'm not copying core. So I got my password for DigitalOcean. I don't change it here. So the password is not affected. I got the password for DigitalOcean right here, and I don't touch it, you know. So in that way, you don't need to change the password from the local password to the one you have on DigitalOcean. All right, I'm gonna stop there. We're not gonna wait for this, but you see everything that is happening now. It starts to copy everything. So if you created a project like Blackberry here, you want to copy it to your root folder here, which is in the HTML, under HTML, and then you will be able to reach that folder by just doing Blackberry. And obviously you have some index file to kick everything off or something like that. So there you have it. That's my workflow. And if I'm in Blackberry using a database as well, maybe it's called Blackberry here instead of first DB. I just go into Blackberry, push export, and then copy everything in the way we learned, and then I just create a database called Blackberry here, and I do SQL and just paste everything in there, and it should be up and running your database on DigitalOcean as well. So that's a good way to create projects and put it into production. See you later.